talk through, first of all, how you got interested in just hip hop culture, period?
Well, the way it started with me when I was in the ninth grade, me and my best buddy at the time, Kenny Crooks, we had a party at his house, and it turned out that a lot of upperclassmen actually ended up coming to that party. And after the party was over with, they're like, "Who did your party?" You know, and I said, "I did," or whatever. And that's how it really got kicked off, as far as doing parties, because you know, there was, like I was saying earlier, there was no one really doing. There was no DJs in the city of Atlanta. You know, so I was actually feeling a void that I was not really aware that I was feeling. You know, and so that just led to, you know, one party and then the next party. And the cool thing is, I mean, I guess I was in the ninth grade, and I got upperclassmen, you know, asking me to do their parties and the whole nine. So, you know, one thing led to another.
How were you DJing? Were you at that when you were that early in the game? What were you using? How were you doing it?
A Radio Shack mixer. I think it cost me $75. I had 2 tape decks, 2 Pioneer tape decks, and 2 belt drive Technique turntables. Yeah.
And how did you use it? Like,
It's,
what do you, is it like you pressing and pausing?
no. The mixers pretty much work as they do today. You know, crossfader, and you know, it was a 2-channel mixer. You know, and then you had your inputs for your turntables, and you had your inputs for your tape decks.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, we used to actually mix, push, and pause and play on the tape deck.
Can you simulate that?
Can I simulate that?
Yeah, like how you did, like was it like?
You know, it was just kind of, it was difficult. I mean, you would just hit play, you know, or cue it and get the song ready, and then when one song ended, you just hit play and then just slide crossfade over into the next song.
So were you mixing at that time, or were you just keeping?
That was the evolution of the starting of mixing. It was more of just one song to the next. I think the blending really came about more right before I met Chris.
Yeah, it had started developing then. So by the time I got with Mike, blending was already into play at that point.
Were you in the ninth grade as well?
No. Mike and I, we linked up senior year of high school.
So, what school is this?
At Mays.
At
At
Mays,
Mays.
okay.
We had a class together, and
Well, mixing came with me when I hooked up with Jurgen Jones.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, and at the time, his business partner, Jurgen, the name of his sound company was called Disco Sounds.
Disco Sounds,
Disco
yep.
Sounds. And Jurgen was known for having these big blowout parties in his backyard. Okay, he used to have these big parachutes.
Right down the street.
I mean, he would literally have anywhere from close to 500 to almost 1,000 people in his backyard. Okay, and Mark Howard and Jurgen were business partners, and Mark was the DJ for Jurgen. And actually, that's where the beats per minute, and that's where I learned the beats per minute from Mark Howard. And
So how did you do that? Because here's a song right here where you have this marked at 120.
Correct.
How did you come up with that?
Well, basically, like I said, I learned the BPM method from Mark Howard. Okay, and he taught me the importance of just knowing your BPMs, because it helps you, you know what records you need to be mixing with one another. And so basically, I mean, you just get a stopwatch. It's much easier today, but you get a stopwatch and hold it and count for a minute. And then we got smarter by counting for 30 seconds and cutting it in half.
right.
doubly,
But,
yeah.
but the concept of learning how to count beats per minute actually came from Mark Howard. He's the one that's actually very instrumental in getting me to understand the importance of making sure that you had your records on beat.